Recorded live in Balcatta, Western Australia, the Hoon capital of the world. This is Talkin' Power.
Gap is what happens when you hold to the floor and crush the man next to you. There's space in between your back bumper and your front bumper. We in the South we refer to it as the gap band.
Well, I think Formula One is for grown-ups.
So, what about the sideways? You've got a race in your own lane. Now he's on the grass, he brings it back. That's a great driving there.
Torque and Power, your motoring and motorsport podcast.
Okay, episode 38 of the Talk and Power podcast. I am with Simon Gonzo Travellini. We are back in the studio. I'm Nick DeChembri. How are you, Simon?
Good, mate. Yourself?
Good. It's like a bit of a...
Holiday?
Yeah, a bit of
a
a
break.
Hiatus. We've had this. So I've been out and about doing a podcast from a remote location. That was quite exciting, actually.
There has been so much motorsport since we recorded the last episode.
Yeah, there's been a bit. Yeah.
It's unbelievable.
Yep.
For motorsport fans out there, this has been the most amazing last few weeks.
It has been. Yeah, there's been a fair bit happening. But it's good to get back into the, well, we call it a studio. It's not really a studio, but it's my office at home. But, yeah, we've done, and thanks to everyone that's helped us out with the last few podcasts that we've done, the last couple of podcasts out in a remote location, and thanks to all those guys that gave up their time to do an interview. It was really good to catch up with people and, yeah, just see people out and about.
Now, the World Series of Pro Mod.
Run and won.
Run and done.
Yeah, run and done.
Run and done.
Carl Stevens Jr. took home the chocolates. $100,000. Not a likely winner. I didn't have him picked as a winner.
Oh, he obviously had the setup for the day. The important thing that I think to come out of this is that, these big events and they put up the big money, everyone goes into them expecting that they're going to set the world on fire and, they're going to run some astronomical numbers, but the numbers were actually fairly sedate.
Your Bandemir probably doesn't lend itself to low ET anyway. I mean, it's
and that's
high altitude. Yeah.
That is an important point. And this is where I think the radial guys are starting to suffer now because we've seen these ridiculous numbers, 360s and 220 mile an hour. Everyone's expecting it.
Yeah.
I believe the last couple of races that they've had, they've fallen short.
Yep.
And now it's gonna be a real interesting time to see whether the radial racing can maintain its popularity.
Yeah.
If it's because the reality is that the 360s is what they should have been running. Should have been running when they first started racing, but it's taken them this long to learn how to run those numbers, how to get the suspension to do what it needs to, and get the power management. So I think this was another case. Now I need to know the burnout comp.
Yep.
What were the rules behind the burnout competition at
I don't
this
think
event?
there was any rules. It was just basically who could do the longest burnout.
The longest burnout.
Yeah, Stevie Fast took home the $5,000 for that 2 years in a row. He's done that.
I think Victor and
they
Zap should have been over there showing him how it's done.
It was not a bad burnout, but yeah. Look, I mean,
but was it the full track burnouts that we're used to in Australia?
Not really. No, not really.
Maybe the 14s just won't, keep the tyres turning.
Nah. It was. I mean, there's a video on YouTube if you want to watch it. He explains how he gets into the burnout, how he strikes the water, and he does a few rah in the water. Sorry about that, John. He does a bit of rah in the water, and then basically he can tell when the car settles after that rah if he's going to be a big burnout or not. So
Stevie Fast.
Yeah.
What a load of bullshit.
You would know better than me. I don't.
What
I
an
wouldn't have a clue.
absolute load of bullshit.
Anyway, I probably paraphrased the great man incorrectly, so my apologies.
Basically,
if that's the case.
when you're in a blown car and you've just gone through a puddle of water, your right foot is directly connected to the tacho. The harder you push down, the more smoke it makes. The only thing that is limiting you is how much speed you get and how straight the car is.
Yeah.
So, when the guys that roll through the water fast, what they're doing is keeping the car straight, because the faster you go through the water, the straighter the car will be. The slower you go through, the more chance that it's going to crab walk.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But obviously, the faster you go through, the more chance that there is that the wheel speed and the track speed are going to catch up to each other.
Yeah, okay.
And that's, going to end the burnout and be quite severe when it does do that. But no, that's not how you do it. You just roll through and, then adjust it. I don't know what it's like in the turbo cars. I think that they have to do a static... because they're not like a blown car. Blown car, as soon as you stand on it, the horsepower's there. But anyway, nonetheless, he made it through
to the quarters,
to the quarterfinals, and lost against Danny Rowe, who made it through to the finals.
That's correct.
Obviously.
Yeah.
Was it a good race, Nick?
Oh, I think it was.
The final was a good race.
I enjoyed watching it. I saw there's a good highlights package as well.
Was the final a good race?
It was okay. Yeah.
Was it close?
It was a typical turbo high-speed charge at the end.
Yeah.
So, which was reminiscent of last year as well, if we remember what Mike Bowman did in last year's race. So, yeah, typical high-speed. His reaction time, we're talking about Carl Stevens Jr., was significantly slower than Danny Rowe's, but, the turbo car got him at the top end.
Yep.
Yeah. So, no, the final was so
it was close? It was a close final?
Yeah.
Because that's what we want to see, close racing.
Yeah. So, yeah, look, I mean, the other notable point was also Erica Ender-Stevens she got through round one against Clinton Scatterfield as well. However, she would lose against Carl Stevens Jr. in the second round.
Who ultimately would go on to win the event.
That's correct, yeah. Round one, we saw a pretty scary crash as well with Derek Menholt. He actually hit the wall quite hard against last year's winner, Mike Bowman. It was quite a significant crash, that one, but he got out of the car okay, but it's quite banged up. Justin Jones, I thought I mentioned that as well, was 19-year-old that appeared there as well. He lost in the first round to Steve Whiteley, but I think it was a honourable mention to a 19-year-old to be in a door slammer or a pro mod car.
Moving on, Formula One, Germany, Hockenheim.
Yeah, look, Hockenheim. We had a couple of races here that have unfolded since our last podcast. So we had the absolute high at Silverstone, where Ferrari took home their chocolates in Lewis Hamilton's backyard. Lewis got him back in Germany, and look, I'll tell you, the German race was
appropriately, really, if you think about it.
Well, given Sebastian Vettel went out on lap 52, I think it was. I've got the notes here, but I think it was lap 52. Correct me if I may be mistaken, but he went out on a wet track. Some gambled to pit, some didn't. Ultimately, Lewis Hamilton didn't pit. There's a lot of question marks about Lewis. He actually did come into the pit lane and then exited before going into the pit area. A lot's been said about that. He didn't get a penalty for it, just a reprimand. If you cast your mind back to last year, Kimi Räikkönen did the same thing at Baku and was lost.
Penalised.
Yeah. A lot of question marks for me over that.
But when Räikkönen did it, did he disturb the flow of traffic?
Arguably he did, and it was a lot higher speed.
That's
higher speed.
That's the difference, I guess.
Yeah.
It is what it is. I think the disappointing part of this race was, Red Bull deciding to do the engine updates to Dan's car, and him having to start so far behind, and then the bad luck during the race.
But look, I mean, like I said, it was good to look. I'm not a Lewis hater, and I've got to take my hat off to Lewis.
You are a Lewis hater.
I am, but I will give him credit where credit's due. He drove the wheels off the car and started from, I think it was 14th he started that race, and managed to get the car. Well, he won ultimately, and they had a better strategy as well, and I think he was duly rewarded. They'd go to Budapest and have very similar results as well. I mean, Sebastian put up a bit more of a fight here, but at Budapest we'd get Lewis winning the race once again. It was good to see
the notes. It was good to see the notes. It was good to see the...
What I was going to say was Daniel Ricciardo put up a real good fight there at Budapest.
Now, he started 12th or something?
Yeah, that's
and,
right.
And made it all the way to fourth spot.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, incredible drive.
And I think he was in a position to probably challenge Kimi as well, but just unfortunately couldn't get there in the end. Interesting thing, that's a couple of things that have happened since. Whenever we hit August, we hit the summer break in Formula One. We also hit what I call crazy season. Now I've put pen to paper and I've put my name out
You
there.
mean like...
Yeah, the circus starts. The driver changes all start happening. Now I've actually, if you go to our website, I've put together my
they don't
predictions.
start happening. The negotiations.
Yeah, but pen gets put to paper. So we've had Fernando Alonso confirm that he's leaving in 2019. Hasn't said where he's going yet. It was pretty tight-lipped about what he's doing or where he's going.
Maybe he's going nowhere.
He's going to be replaced by Carlos Sainz Jr., which is fairly logical. Also, Daniel Ricciardo. Now, this one was one that really caught my eyes.
Yeah, you weren't happy about this one, were
It's
you?
not that I'm not happy. He must know something that I don't know, which is
about Renault.
Yeah, about lots of things, I guess.
You know, every time I think of Renault, right, I'm just brought back to the R12 in Telecom Orange.
Yep.
That's my... I can't see a Renault as a performance car. I'm sorry, I just can't.
Well, when I think of Renault, I think of buses, to be honest.
Buses.
Back in the Transperth days, we used to run around with...
More of a Volgren or a Scania thing.
Yeah. But look, clearly his management, his father, I would suggest, or the people that have surrounded, Daniel knows something that we don't. And I'm hoping that Renault...
Who have they got? Have they got an engineer? Have they poached someone?
No, not anyone that they've mentioned.
Has Dan been sneaking off and flirting with them and driving the cars and
you would suggest that there's some sort of background intelligence there. There has to be. There just has to be.
Or it could just be lots of money.
No, I don't think so.
No, you don't think so?
No. Anyway, we've since had the announcement today. Pierre Gasly will be replacing. I haven't got it in the notes. It only happened today. But Pierre Gasly is replacing Daniel Ricciardo at Red Bull. So he gets elevated from Toro Rosso.
So our dream of Daniel Ricciardo, boy from Perth, driving a Ferrari, shattered.
I think it might. It's certainly on ice at the moment for the next for the next couple of years.
It's on
anyway.
standby.
Yeah, but
when are you too old to drive a Formula One car?
I would have thought probably 33, 34.
So you're saying he's only got 5 years left in him?
Yeah,
4 or 5 years.
So he's got a 2-year deal at Renault.
Yeah,
and then after that we'll have to wait and see.
I mean, do you think they've got the horsepower?
Not at the moment. No, definitely not. Definitely not. No. But
so they're kind of, they must have the same engine development program as Yamaha.
Yeah. So we're going back to last year's
we'll fast forward to that.
Yeah. Why don't we?
We've had 3 rounds of MotoGP.
Yeah.
One was, okay. There was some good tussles in it, but the last 2 rounds have just been unbelievable. Absolutely unbelievable. And the standout at the last round was the Yamaha chief apologising to his riders. I've never heard of or seen anything like that before.
Yep.
Him calling a press conference to apologise to his riders, like Vale, to say, look, sorry, we just don't have the horsepower to match the other guys.
Yep.
I don't know how you felt about that, but I was just gobsmacked.
It is amazing in this day and age where we don't admit any liability to anything in this day and age, but I really can't tell you. From my understanding, they've been riding last year's bikes for a significant amount of time. I don't know if they've even changed.
I can't imagine why they would do that and what it would take for them to come out with that. I mean, I can't even think of another motorsport where that's happened before, where a team's come along and said, sorry, chaps, we just don't have the horsepower and there's not much we can do about it at this stage.
Look, I mean, I think if we go back to Formula One just briefly, I think Zach Brown has admitted that the McLaren team hasn't been up to par with their Honda package from last year. They've switched to Renault. I'd argue that they haven't really moved along in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah, but that's
They're pretty tight-lipped about
different.
their
That's like
performance.
Renault. This is the equivalent of Renault getting
Yeah.
up and saying, "Hey, our motor's shit."
Yeah, yeah.
You know what I mean? I couldn't believe it. Anyway, so we'll start at the German GP.
Yep. That was at Sachsenring.
Sachsenring.
Yep.
Where Marquez took pole.
Yep. We should probably just sorry to stop you there, but
No, you're right.
Danny Pedrosa announced just in the lead up to that race he would be retiring.
Yes,
from
correct.
full-time racing.
Correct. And you know, I like people like Danny and like Casey Stoner that just get to a point and go, you know what, I don't want to do this anymore, or I've done enough.
Yep.
You know, I think that's an admirable trait, that you know when to get off the train at which station. You know.
Yep.
A lot of guys will either die,
Yep.
or you know, finish on not a high note.
Yep.
You know, he's had some great success. Same with Stoner.
Mm-hmm.
Still, I would, you know, as much as I like Valentino, I would have to say that I think Stoner was arguably the best rider that we've seen in this era.
Yeah. Yep.
You know, there'll be plenty of people out there that would argue differently, but you know, everyone had a go on that bike.
Yep.
And only he managed to get it around the track.
Yeah. Yep.
So
Yeah, so sorry to break into you there, but
No,
I
you're
just
right.
wanted to point that out. I think we need to acknowledge that.
Marquez took pole by a narrow margin.
Yep.
But when it got towards the end of the race, he just seemed to have so much left in the bag. You know, there was some good battles, but really, it became quite a lonely race for the top three in the end, didn't it? But it was great to see Valentino and Vinales, two Yamaha bikes on the podium.
Yep.
And you would have to argue, considering the announcement 2 races further down the track, that those guys are pretty bloody good if they're that down on horsepower and they managed to finish second and third.
Yep. The same week we had Monster Energy Drink would announce that they became the naming rights for that team as well, which I thought was kind of interesting actually. They've aligned themselves with the Yamaha team.
Lucky that Yamaha locked that one in before they told everyone, hey, we're down about 20-30 horsepower.
Yeah.
Do you reckon the guys at Monster are going, can we do a deal with Honda? Can we sponsor 2 teams?
They've gone to the Czech Republic after that as well. So that was the week after, because they had their summer break while we were kind of in our a bit before that, the MotoGP. So that was in the Czech Republic where we had Dovi. He would take his second, I think it was second.
This
or
is
third.
the Bruno race.
Yeah, that's correct. Yeah, the Bruno race, the Czech Republic.
I want to know when we're going to have a Pinot race. Don't forget the Pinot.
I just see that commercial the other day. Those
Are
guys
they
doing well,
related
aren't
to
they?
you, Nick?
No, they're not
Are you
related
sure?
to me.
They're
Nope.
from Balcata?
No.
Are you sure?
No.
They look
could be.
familiar.
They could be, couldn't
That
they?
HQ looks familiar.
No, not related to me.
When I heard about this Pinot, I thought it was a joke. You know what I mean? Like, but it's actually an aftershave.
Yeah, it's legit. It's been around
legit.
for 40, 50 years. It's been around a long, long time. All the old generation, old boys used to use it.
I remember Old Spice.
Yeah, but the Pinot was used as well.
Really?
Yeah. Not my father didn't, but I know my late father-in-law did. He used it.
But, you know, I've got to tell you, Brute, Old Spice, I don't know about Pinot, I can't comment. I haven't smelt it. I would rather wear turpentine than this.
Well, you could say the same for Pinot as well. It's absolute terrible. Oh, God.
Maybe they should sell it as mosquito repellent or something instead. Anyway, so the Bruno race.
Yeah, Dovi will take his... I think that's his second win for the year. I should know this, but I don't, unfortunately. But, yeah.
I think it is his
races.
second because it's the only 2 races that he's
Yeah.
won. And the first one was the opening round from
Yeah,
memory.
no, that's correct. Yep. Too many races. We've had too many podcasts talking about this stuff.
There was a fantastic battle, right? And I got to tell you, these last 2 rounds have been edge of the seat, like spectating.
Yep.
The racing has been incredible. Dovi, George, and Marquez.
Yep.
You know, you can see George is hungry. I don't know why he's gotten hungry all of a sudden.
Yep. Is he
maybe-
justifying his...
Well, you know, we were talking about this the other day, right?
We were, yep.
So I think that you get to a certain point with your motor racing when you're established where you can just tick over. You know what I mean? And I think we've seen in all the different motorsport categories, whether it be Formula One, door slammer, whatever, certain teams, they've got their sponsorship deal. You know, as long as they qualify and they show up at the trade shows and stuff,
Yeah.
you know, life carries on for them. To put your life on the line, which on a MotoGP bike, you're doing that every time you know, I mean, yeah, you know, Formula One, so on and so forth, those classes are dangerous, but I don't think anything is quite as dangerous as motorcycle riding because there's no roll cage.
Yeah.
You know, you basically got a helmet and your suit protecting you. And we see people die regularly. It's just accepted, you know. So for him now, he's got all the money, he's got the fame, he's got everything. For him now to be pushing as hard, there's got to be something going on. And I keep wondering whether he's putting his future teammate, Marc Marquez, on notice.
Yeah,
saying,
you spoke about this when we spoke on the phone, and I never gave it much thought. I didn't think of it that way, to be honest.
I'm coming next
Yeah.
season, and
Yeah.
I'm coming for you.
Yeah, and we're going to be on the same bike.
So the argument for a while about, and I hate hearing this, especially from commentators that should know better, where they say, oh, you know, you can really see the torque of the Ducati. What a load of bullshit. What a load of bullshit. At the end of the day, gearing and power management would have more to do with how the bike pulls out of the corner than the torque of the engine. The rules governing the engines on all these elite motorsport categories, Formula One, MotoGP, you can't get an engine, especially this many years of development, and you know, MotoGP's been pretty smart like that. They haven't really changed the rules dramatically from year to year.
Yep.
You know, it might be a couple of CCs here and there, but that's not, you know, not a dramatic rule change. So I don't think that the Ducati is really up that much on horsepower. And as far as torque goes, I don't believe that crap, right? Horsepower is what it's going to be. And when you look at it, Marquez has set the speed record at a lot of these tracks, right? There might be a little bit in the aero, but you've got to say that the Honda's really the bike that's got the horsepower.
Yeah.
The Ducati may have better management, better traction control, for lack of a better word. But, yeah, I don't know. I'm not so convinced that, you know, they've got this massive amount of horsepower up their sleeve. Yeah, because you've never seen the Ducati pull away like the Honda has on some of those races where he's conserved the tyre and he's just gone for it towards the end of the race or right at the last few laps and pulled like, you know, seconds. Yeah. Not tenths, seconds. So, yeah, it's going to be very interesting next season.
Well, you made an interesting point at Spielberg in the Austrian GP when we were talking on the phone. He certainly did go after Marquez at the end of the race.
Mate, they bumped.
Yeah.
They bumped. And if you think about how crucial the points are in the championship right now, if George takes out Marquez, I mean, that's going to have a huge impact on the points.
Yeah.
You know, that's going to put Rossi right back up at, you know, in reach. So you think about it, if he had have taken Marquez out, it's going to open the points up.
Yeah.
You know, Dovi's going to be right there. Valentino's going to be right there. And how's it going to look going into that team? You know? So I was a bit surprised. I would have thought that Honda would have gone, you know what, let's hire him and he can go blocker and then we've guaranteed the season.
Yeah.
You know?
Yep.
But it's not going that way,
No,
is it?
no, it's not.
And I can tell you now, not just myself, but a lot of my friends that I've spoken to, those last two races, we couldn't even sit down.
Yeah.
We're standing up, screaming at the TV.
Yeah, no, so was I. I mean, at that last race, I couldn't believe how close those two really got, and the backwards and forwards on the last lap was unbelievable. Well, even the last couple of laps.
So, where are we at on the points now?
Okay, so Marquez 201, Rossi in number 2, 142, Lorenzo, Jorge at 130, and Dovi on 129. So Marquez has got a substantial lead, but, you know.
Yeah, but he drops that bike.
59-point lead, but yeah.
You know what I mean? It's not going to take much for the other guys to...
Just bear in mind, we're only halfway through the season. I know it's August, but we're only halfway through the season. They've still got... It's a pretty significant back half of the season. They are off to Silverstone this weekend.
Yep. So while we're on the subject of bikes, Barbagallo Raceway, the West Australian Sporting Car Club, and Barbagallo Raceway are pleased to announce that motorcycle activity is returning to the track with National Ride Day provider Track Action poised to conduct non-competitive motorcycle activity. I think that's fantastic for the motorcycle community in Western Australia. And I look forward to going down there and doing some laps.
Yeah. Well, you can do some laps, not in just your motorbike, but this Sunday at Barbagallo, another plug for Barbagallo here, they're having an open track days. This is going to be a new format that they're toying with. So it allows non-CAMS licensed holders to drive on the track. Speed limited under 120 kilometres an hour. $45 for the session. That's prior entry, or $60 on the day. And you can bring a passenger along as well for $20.
So we've got Whoop-Ass Wednesdays. What do they call this? Speed limited Sundays.
Barbagallo open track days. There are power laps as well, where there's no speed restriction.
Power lap Sundays.
Yep, and that's $100 for 3 10-minute sessions as well.
On the same day, we've also got Custom Cars and Coffee at the Motorplex.
Yeah, so Jason came on the last podcast and gave us an interview. So unfortunately, I can't get there this Sunday, Jason. I'm sorry about that. But this Sunday, Custom Cars and Coffee down at the Motorplex, 9:30 to 12. What's happening?
So it has, and I believe that we're only a week away from the first Whoop-Ass Wednesday.
Yes, that's correct. Yep, and the track calendar is out for those that haven't seen it for the Motorplex. Get online, get behind it. It's a full calendar.
Yes.
Speaking of calendar and the Motorplex, I am. I'm going to be at Nostalgia Drags. So come down and say hello. If you're at the Nostalgia Drags, come and say hello. We'll be there somewhere. I'll be there with a tent.
Now, if you're wondering what Torque and Power's doing this season, if we're going to be running any cars, we're going to finish the XY or get the BA out. Where we're at is we're waiting for Ray to let us know whether full chassis cars are allowed in the radial class. Those of you that know Nick and I know that, although we bag out the radial racing a bit on the show, we are big fans of radial racing and would like to get involved in it. But unfortunately, up until now, the rules have said three-quarter chassis cars. So there's been a push to change those rules to allow full chassis cars. So basically, hopefully we'll know in the next few days, and hopefully we'll have enough time to get whatever bits and pieces we need, get the car reteched and get it race ready. I don't know. I can't say for sure that we're going to make the beginning of the season, but hopefully we'll get down there for a round or two, have a bit of a laugh.
Yep.
So on the subject of drag racing, we just had the 400 Thunder Nitro.
Oh, that's probably it was a couple of weeks ago. Up in Darwin. Yep. Had Zap had a good win up there?
Yes, he literally smoked Moitz in the final. I've been waiting weeks to say that. I have been waiting literally weeks to say.
You kind of stole my thunder.
So if you get an opportunity to watch the replay of that, basically Zap comes out for the burnout. He's got a lot of smoke coming from, it was probably the third pipe.
Pipe on the left-hand
side, yep. And the commentary, I urge you all to listen to the commentary, because I believe that the commentators were about to step down from the tower and hand the trophy to Paul Mahoyat. There is no doubt in my mind that in their mind, Paul had already won the race.
Seriously, look, we don't want to make fun of him, but it was basically they'd relinquished the trophy.
I'm pretty sure that one of them said something along the lines of, "That must be just going to put the car into stage, hoping that Paul's going to red light." Right now, those of you that have run a Hemi know that they're an amazing piece of machinery.
Yep.
I, for one, have run a 630 with the side of a piston missing. I didn't even know it was missing. when Rory from Speed Talk said to me, "There's some aluminium on your intake valve," I was like, "What are you talking about? Where would that have come from?" The side of the piston. So Zap basically does the burnout. There's a lot of smoke before he starts the burnout. Seems very clean on the burnout
cleaned
itself.
up in the burnout, yep.
By the time he reverses back, there's so much smoke that you cannot see the Christmas tree anymore. No. What a bloody race it was.
It was awesome.
It was So Zap's pulled the car into stage, brought the revs up, or, pre-stage, Paul's bumped in, brought the revs up, thing starts to clear up. Paul goes in on the two-step, Zap leaves. I think it was a whole shot in favour of Zap.
Yeah.
Paul's car goes into pretty bad tyre shake.
It does, yeah. Yep.
I think he has a bit of a pedal, but in the end, ultimately gives up.
Yep.
And Zap goes through for a...
I think that was a 73, that one.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was a 573. Yep. His car was like a bracket car all weekend.
Yeah, 71, 72 and 73.
Incredible. Yep. So Zap taking the win and starting the championship off in a good way. The last couple of seasons he's had a bit of a rough road in the beginning of the season. Mm-hmm. So it's great to see him start strong.
Yep.
Now we have a big break till the next round, yeah?
Yeah, November. November 2 and 3 at the Western Sydney Dragway, sorry, and that's the East Coast Thunder.
So this is going to be in Paul's backyard. So
yeah, that's
it'll be interesting to see how they go. Now, Top Fuel's exhibition with Kelly Betts and
Beggs.
And the Beggs. Anthony Begley competing.
Yep.
First round went to Beggs, but Kelly took second round, and unfortunately Beggs couldn't front for third round, giving Kelly the overall win.
Yep. And Jay Upton went awesomely well as well. He ended up taking the win in top bike.
Yeah, that's Jay awesome. Upton. Great to see Jay back out there.
Yep.
And it's a shame that we never got to see for sure whether that run at the Winters by Matheson was Australia's first 5. But I'm a bit excited that Jay's in the hunt because, mate, that guy, I've spent a lot of time chatting to him at Speed Talk, and he is incredible. Yeah. He is the two-wheeled equivalent of John Zappia, and the development and advancements that are on that bike are just phenomenal. And it's not like he was able to start with something and then develop it. They started with a clean sheet of paper, and really they haven't got anyone that they can talk to about that setup because it is unique. And that's something that I love to see. We did the same thing when we built our car. It wasn't like we could go to anyone and get a tune-up because they'd go, "You what?"
Yeah.
He's in the same boat. For those of you that don't know, most of these motorcycles run a 2, possibly sometimes 3-speed setup with a conventional style clutch. Jay's runs like a Top Fuel car where they don't run a transmission as such. They basically just burn the clutch up. So it's a single speed, so to speak. So the clutch control, how it works, the whole thing, he's built the whole bike, or aside from, I believe, Clyde Carstairs built the chassis on it. I could be wrong, but as far as the engine goes, basically Jay's designed it and built it. It is Honda-based loosely. But the cylinder heads, the way that the cylinder slides into the head, the skull cap, unbelievable, absolutely amazing. Just an incredible guy, and great to see him take a win. Yeah. Great to see him back out there, and can't wait to see the big matchup that I'm sure everyone in the bike fraternity would like to see Matheson against him. It'll be great. So I'm looking forward to this season's drag racing. I think it's going to be some big highlights.
This Darwin round, we should make note of it. I did a quick tally up on the website. There was 16 cars from WA, 16 cars and bikes from WA that made the trip up there.
Yeah, I think more and more people are travelling to Darwin, to Alice Springs, and also to Adelaide.
Yep.
We'll see what happens with Calder. How things are travelling over there. It's sad that Willowbank and Sydney are not ANDRA rounds. The great thing for this season, for those of you that didn't know, we have got 3 championship rounds in WA. So
including the grand final.
Exactly.
ANDRA.
Yes. That in the old days, the grand final did used to move from track to track. Then it found its home in Calder Park, and then ultimately it became the Winter Nationals.
Yep.
Look, there's some bad sides to what's going on with Thunder and IHRA, but there's some good things. So I urge all the racers out there to set aside what's happened in the past, dust off your cars, and make an effort to go down and have some fun. Because I tell you what, I'm going to give it a good shot.
Yeah.
And we're going to try and get as many of the I hate saying it, but we're old timers now. So as many of us old timers back down the track this season to do some laps and just go down there and have some fun for a change. Forget the politics. Let's just go and race.
No, that's right. Yeah, definitely.
So the Supercars, Nick.
Yeah. Did you? I don't know if you caught.
No, none of it.
No, zero. Nothing.
Nothing.
Look, I don't want to dwell too much on it, but the Utes are becoming farcical. I don't want to dwell on it too much.
This isn't even in the notes.
No, it's not. But I still want to just touch base on it, because what happened at Ipswich at Queensland was almost.
Nick, what happens at Ipswich stays at Ipswich.
Except for the tyres and rims that hang off the Super Utes. They end up
did they lose another one?
No, this is what we were referring to on the phone some time ago.
Radio, yeah.
That they end up in other suburbs. But, yeah, look, we had a terrible incident in the Super Utes where 2 cars came together and they do what they do. They roll end over end, and it was terrible. It could have really ended in very badly. We had a rim and a tyre.
Yeah, I think the rim and the tyre coming off is a safety concern. I know that you feel that they need to get on top of this immediately.
Definitely.
I mean, from an engineering point of view, we run, obviously, 5/8 studs on the rear of the drag cars. The off-road race vehicles that I've worked on run up to 3/4 inch studs, and I know that some of the truck stuff that I worked on when I was at Boomerang were up to 1 inch. I mean, it wouldn't be a hard fix to go to a larger stud.
No, but Cams need to step in and do something about this. If I was I
don't know that Cams has a lot of say in this sort of stuff, do they?
Well, if
this is all money driven.
Yeah, but if I was managing the track or I was running the facility, I wouldn't allow them on my track as they stand right now. No way.
I'm pretty sure that when the V8s come to town, you just hand over the keys.
You do?
They give you a check, or actually no. According to the guys at Barbagallo, you give them a check and hand over the keys.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, you got to give them money.
You got to give them money to lose money.
Anyway, let's not dwell on it too much. The Ipswich race, we had Scott McLaughlin race 1, and come second in race 2. We had Shane Van Gisbergen come back in Ipswich.
In the ZB.
Yeah, the ZB Fairlane. Interesting, not long after that, we had the Sydney race. Now, the Sydney race was new in many ways for supercars. But yeah, did you see any vision of it, the night race? Look, I think the lighting might need a bit of work. I don't think there was any complaints.
First go, but
yeah. I don't think there was any complaints about it, but I think from a
maybe they could get sponsorship by Coates.
Yeah,
put some light towers
all
up.
Bright. All bright. If you watch NASCAR, how they do it at night time,
could do with LEDs, dome LED pier lights.
If you look at NASCAR,
that's what they should do, Nick. They should get a company like Pier Light, and they should get some of their products and have them on display. And they could have them on display and light the track with them. There you go. There's an idea for you. I'll only take a 10% commission for that.
Sean Seamer, if you're listening. I just felt that the lighting, probably from a visual point of view, I'm not saying that the races indicated that, but I think from a visual point of view, a viewing point of view, was probably a bit dull or a bit.
Did the cars have their headlights on?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Were they flashing to overtake?
No, I don't think so. No.
Because that would be annoying, you know,
Yeah.
when someone's got their high beam on behind you.
Yeah. I just think
Give me the
that
shits.
if you look at the NASCAR example that they do over in the
Imagine
US,
Scotty McLaughlin brake testing van,
puts the hazard lights on.
the finger out the window.
Anyway, I just felt that, I think they've got a bit
NASCAR
of work to do, but there's a lot. If you look at the NASCAR example,
Yeah, but
the
that's
track's
lit up
like a.
like it's daylight.
Yeah, that's
it's
right,
kind of
yeah.
almost like, why are we racing at night?
Yeah. But I think it adds to the excitement, the colour, and I just felt that we didn't capitalise on something that could have been quite good. I think it was done, I don't want to say half-baked, but it was kind of half-baked.
So would you compare it to the Formula One?
No, no way. No, you go to Singapore, the way that place is lit up at night time, there's just no comparison. It was
Maybe it's because the cars don't have lights.
Yeah, no, it's not.
NASCARs don't have
No,
lights.
they don't, but it's not that.
Formula One don't have lights.
No.
See?
No. Anyway, that's just my view on it. Shane Van Gisbergen won that meet as well. So
In the fair lane.
Yeah, in the fair lane. He's actually is catching right up now to Scott McLaughlin. Scott McLaughlin's got a bit of work to do. He's still leading, 2,579.
Isn't it incredible how fast they got on top of the development?
They did in a matter of 3-4 events. Really, they were on top of it.
Incredible.
Because we went to Barbagallo and they were dead in the water on the Saturday, those cars, and they've kind of, since Barbagallo, they've come really good.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, they have. They've got on top of it.
All right, so our main man, Dom Rigoli, just had some bad luck.
Yeah, it was pretty. I actually seen the incident. It wasn't pretty.
No, the car, I believe it shook, headed towards the wall.
Yep.
He throttle pumped it, committed, tried to drive it back, but got pulled in against the wall. It was a fairly hard hit.
Yeah.
Knocked him unconscious, and his foot went flat.
Yep.
Motor sat on 11,400 till the safety crew got there and shut it down. Then there was some concerns about, his injuries.
Yep.
He's fine. The car is repairable.
Yep.
So a bit unfortunate, but he wasn't the only casualty from first round because all the hard hitters ended up racing each other in the first round. So we had
Craig Burns,
Jeremy Martin.
How's that for a round one pairing up
Yeah,
against Craig Burns?
I know. Jeremy Martin, who would go on to win the event in his twin turbo VB Commodore, took out Craig Burns
First round.
in the first round in his supercharged Mustang. Bruno
Matajesevic.
Yeah, that's it. That sounds so. He would win over Kit Hunter in the turbocharged Commodore.
That's a pretty stout pairing too, that one.
Mate, that's what I mean. First round, all the hard hitters had to race each other.
Yep.
So now, look, I'm not gonna dwell on this, but I believe that there may have been some sneaky staging games.
Oh, look, we won't.
I'll let you cover it.
No. I viewed it. Look, I saw it.
You know what? While you're talking about this, I'm going to have a pretzel.
No. I'm not going to talk about it because I wasn't there. I'm not in the position to talk about it. But it felt.
But in the notes. What have you written in the notes there, Nick?
It appeared from my viewing 3,600 kilometres away.
Pretzel?
No, 4,000 kilometres away, as though Bruno may have put the burn down on Jeremy. That's all I'll say.
Nonetheless, burn down or not.
But I shouldn't say that because I don't know. So, Bruno,
burn down or not.
My apologies.
Jerry won the event, and he's going to the US.
Yeah, no mercy.
To race the car at No Mercy. So we wish him all the best.
Yeah. Yep.
And the event, Poe, fantastic event.
Yep.
Incredible to watch. Mm-hmm. I've heard nothing but good things about the event.
Yep.
And the racers all had a ball. It was a huge event. The spectators had a ball. And now It's been announced, 100,000.
Yeah, that's correct. Yeah.
100,000 for the win for the next one.
Yep.
Fingers crossed. There's still some placings available by the time I figure out how I'm going to get a car together. But we certainly want to try and get over there.
Definitely. Yep.
And just fantastic to see someone like Poe, you know, making this happen. Because if it wasn't for guys like him, you know, we wouldn't see these incredible races.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it was a huge event, and thank you for the live feed as well. Having the live feed made it, you know, quite enjoyable to watch, and you're not having to watch replays and whatnot. I mean, you just got to make the time to be at home or your phone, whatever it may be, to watch the event.
Yeah, you could watch it anywhere.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
And I would have to say that was literally saving the best till last.
Definitely. All right, as I mentioned, I am going to be at the Nostalgia Drags 30th of September, so come down to the pit area. I'll be there somewhere. Ray hasn't worked out where he's going to put me yet, but I will be there. And you can come and say hello if you want to do an interview. Feel free. Grab a sticker.
Is Kyle going to have the dragster there?
Don't know. Didn't ask him that.
You should go for a ride in it.
I'd love to go for a ride in it.
You should.
850s.
You should.
Pretty fast. For someone like me.
It's fast for anyone.
Yeah, but for someone like me, it's fast.
For anyone that thinks that drag, about 400 metres in a straight line, mate, you should go for a drive in the drags, and then when you get out at the other end, we'll interview you.
Like I said to Kyle, I said 850 for someone like me that's gone significantly slower. I won't say how much slower, but that is fast. That's not hanging around.
If we doubled it... would be
about right. Be about right.
It would be interesting to see what you ran to half track.
It was not even worth talking about anyway. Let's just leave it at that. All right. So yeah, we've covered off on the XY and the BA as well. Well, that's about it then. Simon, thanks for coming on.
Mate, thanks for having me.
Yeah, thanks, and thanks to all of our listeners, and thanks for all the feedback you've given us over the past month or two. We're very appreciative of all the feedback. Thanks for coming in, Simon.
Thanks, Nick. See you on the street.
See ya.
Talk and Power stresses all characters and events on this podcast, even those based on real people, are entirely fictional. All celebrity voices are impersonated poorly. We do not encourage street racing or the use of turbochargers.